Hey friends, how are you? I have a book today that I don't usually read this trope. I don't specifically stay away from it, but I also don't seek it out. It is an enemy to lovers book. Let me tell you, I actually kind of, even though it makes my heart hurt, I kind of like being mad at the hero. And of course, it's usually the hero that's the enemy. Or the bully. So if you like enemies to lovers, this is a great book recommendation for you. If you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to consider subscribing. If you like romance, this is the place to be. I talk about all the romance novels that I read. I primarily read romance. I do indie authors, big authors. It's almost my channel's 3-year anniversary, so it's a great time to be a subscriber. And without further ado, let's talk about Sweeter Than Sin by Rachel De Lune. I have one of Rachel's paperbacks here. I actually have 2 of her paperbacks. Hello, the cover. I have not read this series of hers yet. The book we're going to talk about today is a completely different. It's an interconnected standalone. Of course, it always adds to the story when you have read all the books, but it's not a 100% necessity with this book. This book is about Belle and Ezra. So if we go back with the previous 2 books, the first book was The Two Halves of My Heart. Oh my God. I was in tears in that book. Highly recommend. I did a video on it. It will be linked down in the description box. That book was about Grace, Madison, and Oliver. My heart, literally. And if you've read the book, you know. Ooh. And then the next book was about Leo and Astrid. Leo was Madison's really good friend, and then he got his own book. Leo, oh, my heart for Leo. And I was so glad that he got his happily ever after. And now we have Belle and Ezra. Belle was Astrid's best friend from the previous book. I had no idea. I knew that Rachel was writing the book. I was super excited to hear that, but I had no idea what it was about. So when I opened it and started reading it, I had seen little blurbs, but I kind of forgot about it. So when I opened it and I started reading it and I started to get the vibe, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in for it, which I freaking love, right? Belle is such a great character. She is a hard-working young woman. The book takes place in London. She has like 2 or 3 jobs when the book starts. We know a little bit about her background as to why she works so hard, and my heart really went out to her, but also like it was really a badge of honor for her. She took pride in her work, but she also felt like, is this all that there is? She was feeling the daily grind a lot. I really understood her from that perspective, and I hoped that, and she hopes that there's more to her life. She's feeling like her life is passing her by and all she's doing is working. Right off the bat, this is what Belle says. Sometimes like today, I question everything about my life. It feels like a never-ending grind to get up, work, go to sleep, repeat. There's little relief, or rather, the only relief that I did have revolved around my friends. Friends who now have their own lives to lead, yet I'm still stuck. I dig my phone from my bag and look at the photo of Astrid, me, and her baby boy Finn. The image immediately pulls a smile to my lips. I'll have that one day. I know I will. I loved hearing about Astrid and Leo and their baby. And then, hello, can we just talk about the cover? When I started reading the book and then I looked at the cover, I was like, oh, Rachel nailed it. Absolutely nailed Ezra. Ezra is a chef / owner of very high-end successful restaurants literally around the world. I think he has 3 or 4, and he has recently bought and taken over the restaurant that Belle works at. That creates a little bit of an issue because It's completely new. He's turning it over in a weekend. New decor, new menu, new way to present food, new way he wants his team to work, the uniform, everything. He's changed everything. And Belle, being the hard worker she is, she's like, okay, great. This is my chance to move up. This is my chance for my hard work ethic to really be taken seriously. I want more. And Ezra's restaurants have a reputation. She knows she's ready for it and feels like Ezra's new restaurant is the place for her to be able to do that. Pretty quickly though, it's clear that Belle can't do anything right in his eyes. This is where it's a little hard for me with enemies to lovers, because it's just like he was picking on her, and I just was like, no, stop that, like don't be mean to her. She says he's a bully and he obviously brings out the worst in me. It's very apparent that she's spot on with that. And she complains a little bit to her coworkers, and they're like, no, he's not usually like that. Like, I'm not really sure why he's being like that to you, which increases her confusion. But on the flip side of that, she has this kind of visceral reaction whenever he's in the room. And she's so pissed at her body betraying her like that. And it got me thinking, I was like, did I ever have that? I don't think I've ever had that with anybody in my life. And I'm not the type of person where I would say I don't like that person, really. In my group of guy friends from high school and my early 20s, I don't remember there being like, I don't like him, like he's a bully. I don't ever remember that, but obviously there's a whole trope about this, right? So people have experienced it there in their lives. I enjoyed reading that part of that, the chemistry, the angst, the build up. I really liked all of that, but also it made my heart hurt. I'm like, don't pick on her. You couldn't help the way Rachel writes Ezra, and he is a man of few words when he's around her, and the words that come out, I got very defensive. But reading Belle describe him, I could understand how she felt. Ezra is at the table with a slew of paperwork in front of him. He's not in his formal three-piece suit, or rather, his jacket is over the back of a chair, and he's rolled up his sleeves, revealing a tattoo on his inner arm. My eyes don't care that I'm probably going to get fired, and they stay glued to the man in front of me, taking in all the details of him that shouldn't interest me. The stubble across his jaw and the definition of muscles on his forearms. He sits back as if he's waiting for something, but the move only makes me appreciate him further. He's everything I shouldn't be attracted to, and I know it's just a physical reaction because he's certainly not a nice guy, but my brain doesn't get that message. The dangerously familiar vibration through my body starts up, and for the first time, I think I understand it. My body is warning me that Ezra Steele is dangerous. Of course he is. He's powerful, successful, and far too handsome. The silence stretches and only builds the tension until I feel like I'm going to explode. And let me tell you, if you can feel it in that passage, the tension was perfection. But I was literally saying to Belle so many times, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. He's not worth it. A little bit later, Belle says, I'm not meant to be with Ezra, not in a million years. He's nothing like the man I'd want to fall for. He'd be the villain in my Disney story, and besides, I always thought I'd recognize my true love when I finally met him. There is no stars in their eyes when they are together in the same room, when they are conversing. With the dialogue on the pages, there is lust. There's confusion, their heads are spinning. Since we only get Belle's perspective, the confusion that she feels around him, she's mad all the time. She doesn't understand why he's such a jerk and why her body likes it. They act on complete instinct with each other. They do not have level heads at all. But then, surprise, 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 The tables turn and he takes her on a date. Oh my God, the most epic date. I was like, my mouth was falling open when I was like, oh my God, he has it in him to be a nice guy. Oh my gosh, he's feeling the same way. Oh my gosh, here it is. But wait, nope. Rachel's not done with the drama. I loved the last several chapters of this book, and I don't think I would be giving away when I tell you why, but maybe I would be kind of giving it away. But they completely surprised me in the most awesome way, and those are the chapters that I needed for him to win me over. Like, it took that long. This book is emotional because, of course, Enemies to Lovers is emotional, right? But the last few chapters of this book, my stomach was in knots. I could not put it down. I was in the corner of my couch, like, don't talk to me. Like, I got to read this book. When he says to her, remember Paris, I lost it. I started crying. I messaged Rachel and I was like, oh my gosh. It was awesome, you guys. And to put a little cooking, because Ezra is a chef, assimilation, if that's the right word, the last chapters of this book are like the most gorgeous, delicious cream cheese frosting on a red velvet cake. If you're a fan of red velvet cake, when it's paired with like the most beautiful cream cheese frosting that's not too heavy and it balances the flavor of the red velvet, it's like, it's amazing. And that's how I felt about the end of this book. Let me know if you have read Sweeter Than Sin or any of Rachel's other books. You know I always love to hear. And also, if you love Enemies to Lovers, let me know in the comments below which ones you like. I'm always up for a good recommendation. Don't forget, I've got a lot of fun festivities happening in my Facebook group during the month of February for my channel's 3-year anniversary. All the links for my social media and that group are in the description box below. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon.